Okay, so I'm sorry if you can hear the wind in the background. It is a very windy day today, but I wanted to do the sketchbook tour. And I am doing the sketchbook tour on the ground so that my sketchbook has plenty of room to open up and not on my desk, so bear with me. But this is the fourth sketchbook I have completed, and I put the date that I completed it on in here. So let's get started. I covered up some personal information. Actually, the front of this I painted a long time ago because I was really excited to start this. And this is an Illo sketchbook. It is around $17, and I probably bought it around 2020 but didn't start using it till later on. So I started it in 2023, so obviously it's been a couple years, and I just finished it in February. All these stickers are from my Freddy's little ice cream thing that I made. They were the extra ones, and I'll mention it again once I actually get there. Struggling. Okay. So I wanted to do a meet the artist on my first page. It's kind of like my welcome page. This is me, my likes, dogs, tattoos, video games, gym, 10 things I hate about you, the 1999 version, and I love winter. Things I don't like are spiders, math, running, coffee, scary movies, and driving. I do wear my glasses sometimes, but most of the time you'll see me wearing my contacts. This is the wallet I carry around. I don't really use this water bottle anymore. I actually don't know where it's at either. And I accidentally got a smudge on here when I was coloring it, but I have a dent in that direct spot, so I thought that was hilarious. And then of course my phone's different from then, and it looks like I originally did this drawing, and you'll see it on the other page. That's why there's all this black, but I redid this part because I really didn't like how I drew myself the first time, so that's why it's 2023. And you can kind of see it on this side. I just am not a fan of how that one was looking. And peonies are my favorite flower, so I felt like I had to add that one in there. Here's where I swatched all my Copic Chow and some sketch markers, and then my Hoo Hoo markers are all over here, and then some glitter pens that I have no clue where they came from, but this next one is a DTIY that I did. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but the hashtag's right there. So you'll notice that when I started this sketchbook, I only got through a few drawings for, oh, I guess I did it started in 2022. So I guess I started this sketchbook in 2022, but I didn't really start drawing in it till later on, so I'll probably only have 2 or 3 drawings per year, which is really bad, but at the time I had a lot of different sketchbooks I was working in, so this wasn't the sole one that I was trying to complete. This page I really don't like. It was in 2023 when I did it, but it was 6 fan arts that I asked y'all to pick, and these were the ones that were picked. I feel like I've learned a lot on faces since doing this, and I need to redo it again because it just does not look good. I really like him. He looks so cute, but all the rest of them just don't really look that great. In this page, I colored a note card, and then I cut it up in pieces and then varied it, and then I think I drew this in another sketchbook, but it was on a really blank page, so I just cut it out and put it on here because this one was water. And I painted this whole page black because I really wanted to try to do some drawings in white, but I tried to use white colored pencil on the paint and it didn't do very well, so then I kind of scrapped that idea. As you can see, this one was from 23, 23, 23, and then we go to 24. So I drew this around Halloween, of course. I think I just used people for reference and then added pumpkin heads to them. I like the way it looks, but I feel like I could definitely do better now. And if you don't know me, my favorite restaurant, fast food wise, is Freddy's. So this is the ice cream I was talking about. You get to make your own in the little kids meal, and it came with stickers, and so I just used the rest of them on this page. But yeah, I made my own little ice cream, and I tried to stick to the red and yellow theme because Freddy's is red. And so I drew a restaurant, their burgers, and then hands, because you'll notice a lot through this sketchbook. I love drawing hands, but I really enjoyed this, and I absolutely love Freddy's. Okay. On this next page, this was just a coloring sheet that I colored and ended up sticking in here because I thought it looked well with this. I got a pair of Vans and stuck the tag in here, and that's kind of what inspired this whole spread. I do have a YouTube video on this one if you would like to see it. I think she's pretty cute. And I put Mod Podge over it, and that's why it's really shiny, and I wish I hadn't because it's hard to see. But then I used my Hoo Hoo markers on this side. This is honestly one of the things I was really proud of because I sketched this out first, and then I took a picture of that and then drew all the details in my iPad, and this is like the finished product that I did. But I not just recently, I probably finished Supernatural a couple months ago, but I was really late to the bandwagon and I enjoyed all the seasons, so I felt like I needed to draw that in my sketchbook. This page is also one that I did a video on. I used my Color Erase colored pencils on all these, and this is where I realized I really didn't like how the colored pencils did on the sketchbook paper, so I didn't use them as much throughout the rest of the sketchbook, and I tried to stick to like very small amounts if I did use them. And I sprayed them, especially on this side, it looks like they bled a lot because I use my alcohol markers, and when I use the fixative spray, it just made it bleed everywhere, and it kind of made it really messy. But I really like this watermelon, and I really like this papaya. Here's a CD that I did digitally, and this is one that I planned for my Redbubble shop, and the one on my Redbubble shop looks a lot better because I actually colored it digitally, so you should go check that out. This page was a video of me just sketching in my sketchbook. I think this pigeon is adorable, and I like the colors I used because it's normally out of my comfort zone. And then here started my obsession of sketching and drawing in blue pen. I have quite a few other pages that I did in blue pen. I didn't like his face because I struggle to draw faces, so I just blacked it out. I really like how his outfit turned out though, and she looked really good. This one I was just trying to cover up bleed through from the last page, so I just added that. Here is a lot more blue ink pen. If you don't know, these two and another one are like my intro videos if you saw at the very beginning. So what I did was I took these two and I put them in my iPad and actually lined them out so that they looked a lot more refined, and that's how I used that. They're also, I think this one for sure is a sticker on my Redbubble. I don't know about that one. I want to say yes, but I'm not sure. And this one was just a Pinterest picture that popped up. I realized I hadn't used any acrylic paints in the sketchbook, so I wanted to see how that held up, and I thought this possum was just really cute. It really wasn't inspired by much. I was just feeling silly. So now is when I actually started putting months on my sketchbook, because I went through my last sketchbook tour and realized that I need to start putting months on these so I could see how far apart and how many months were close together and which months I did art and which ones I didn't. So this one, these two I drew on the plane. Me and my mom got to fly first class, so that's why I put Hey Google Play First Class by Jack Harlow, because it was a lot of fun. And then this one, I just wanted to do a lot of grays and blacks. And then I used my silver Posca marker on that. here is where I was starting to get ready for Inktober. So I did a lot of blue pen sketches, and the prompts were all by this person over here, and it was called Fantasy Inktober, and I really enjoyed this. This is also one of my intro pictures that pops up. I just love how that looks. Obviously I love drawing hands, so that was really fun. I love that one. That one's on my Redbubble shop. But yeah, all these were off of that list. And it continues on to the next page, but this is where I was starting to get burned out with this prompt list. This one looks okay. That one is just an outline. I was running out of ideas to draw. I like that one a lot, but this face looks awful. Those vines were just, I wasn't a fan of how this was heading, so I just stopped with that prompt list. So, I saw a meme, and I've seen a lot of other artists draw memes in their sketchbooks, so I felt like I needed to. And this one says, when they asked me, are you gonna eat all that? And then this possum's just taking a big old mouthful of food. Really like that koala. It was colored with my hoo-hoo markers. And then I do have a full video on this process, and here's all the colors I used over here. I really like this page. I like all the colors. I know they're not super realistic, but I really enjoyed making this. So on this page, this looks like a piece of trash, but it's really just covering up colored pencil art so it doesn't smudge onto this beautiful page. So this is where I started to really get into drawing flowers using all my alcohol markers, and I started to put the colors there in case I wanted to replicate them, but I really love drawing flowers. And here's the start of Inktober for 2024. I wasn't a huge fan of all these prompts, but I think some of them are really cute, like the boots turned out good and the bird turned out good. I like the skull. I really like this mushroom. I think it looked really cool. I need to make a sticker out of this for my Redbubble. But a lot of these, you can tell, I just didn't really try that hard, and I wasn't interested in that prompt for that day, so. And instead of making full finished pieces, I wanted to do smaller ones so that I wasn't as overwhelmed and didn't quit like 2 days into it. Obviously, you can tell by this that I didn't finish Inktober, but I got most of it, and I was actually really proud of myself. I think my favorite prompt was this one. I just love the way this turned out. I did a jumbo shrimp. This is one of my favorite spreads, and if this doesn't show how much I love to draw hands, I don't know what does. I highlight the hands that I like a lot with the darker black, and you can tell this theme throughout most of my sketchbook that I will highlight my favorite ones. But I just really enjoyed how this turned out, and I think all the hands look like hands, so. This sketchbook spread I drew from here over in high school, and I recently found some of my high school stuff, so there's going to be a couple pages in this sketchbook that's like this one. So that inspired me to draw this side. I love how this leopard gecko turned out because it actually looks like one. And then this one looks awful, but I really like how that turned out. And this was really good. I like the line work. Here's another sketchy page. This was actually from a sketchbook in 2017 that I glued in here because I liked it, and I was trying to cover up something that I didn't like. Mario star. Girl from Pinterest without a face because I'm awful at drawing faces. Another girl from Pinterest. Guy from Pinterest. And I tried to fill up the page, but I think these pages were just too big for trying to do that. And on this side, another flower that I absolutely love. I don't know why I haven't drawn more flowers recently because I feel like they are they turn out so good, and they're in my comfort zone. I guess because I was trying to push outside of my comfort zone, I just haven't drawn them as much. And on this side, if you can tell by the back side, I was trying to cover something up. Normally when there's big blocks of black on here, I'm covering something up. I hated the donut and the horse that I drew on this side, so I drew this alligator and I just pasted all this stuff in, and I think it turned out way better. Even though it looks kind of messy, it was better than what it was. I have a video on me creating this. It was Pinterest inspired, and I created the background by myself, and I'm actually really happy with how it turned out, because normally I don't have creative ideas like this, but I really, really enjoyed how that one turned out. Okay, so every artist has OCs, and I feel like I have not created mine, so here's where I started to create them. I actually have Zariah down somewhere else in the sketchbook, like her full body and then like a close-up, so you'll see her, but I was trying to actually map out Ronan because I wanted him to be an archer and her to be like a knight from the medieval times. So this is her sword, and it is inspired by my tattoo, and this is Ronan. He might go under some changes later on because I don't know if I fully like that, but this is an incomplete spread. It was just trying to get some ideas out. This spread, as you can tell, I was going through a major art block because I wasn't happy with how my art was turning out, and these just don't look very finished. And on this side, I actually drew this. It was on a larger piece of paper, and it was for my brother, but I think he ended up gifting it back to me or something. Somehow I ended up with it back, and I just glued it into this sketchbook because I love how this turned out. And this was from 2018. Tell me how I drew this good in 2018, and I'm struggling to draw this good now. This sketchbook spread is my absolute favorite of this whole entire sketchbook. I am happy with how everything turned out, and I would not change one thing on here. So I started off with this dog from Pinterest, and it was like a dog with dreads and beads in its hair. I think it was a poodle. And so I really liked how that turned out and decided to go to the next one with pencil. And then from there, I filled up the other spread, and then I added chains, a dog bone, more chains just to fill up this space. But I love this. The only dog that I am not super happy with is this one, because I know I can draw Dobermans better than that, but overall I'm very, very happy with this sketchbook spread, and it is my favorite of this sketchbook. And it was in November of 2024. Another incomplete sketchbook spread. So I started this DIY and then realized I just didn't like how the face was turning out. So I was going to come back to it later. Obviously I never did, but that's why I left that page. And I drew more hands. Here, I don't know why I put music notes. I guess because I was thinking the hand was like this for rock and roll instead of with the thumb touching like Spider-Man. So ignore that. But then there's another hand. Poorly drawn dice, just trying to fill up the space. I did do a video on this page. I really enjoyed drawing these because of all the colors, and I know figs don't really look like that, but I'm happy with how it turned out, and my colored pencils and markers looked really good together on this page. And then another random hand, because I always draw hands everywhere. And these are all the colors I use for my markers on this side. I decided to draw, I think his name is Ghost, because I don't know, I just felt like drawing him because I knew he was a popular person in Call of Duty. Then I drew a hand because I felt like the rest of this page was really, really blank. I mean, it's still blank over here, but at least this is filled up a little bit more. If you can't tell, if I run out of ideas, I will just draw hands. more hands, but I really like how these turned out, and that's why I outlined them in highlighter. And then I think November was when I really started to draw a lot more, because I think this is when my sketchbook started to get actually low. And then I drew this candy because I wanted to fill up a full page, because I think I was starting to get into art block again, and I just wanted to finish the sketchbook. I did a YouTube video on this. I got a random animal wheel generator, and so you spun the wheel and it picked your animal with an emoji. So I got a mouse emoji and then a squid emoji, and then drew those. And this really helped with my art block, because when I cannot think of ideas, the wheel thought of them for me, and then I was just able to draw. Not super happy with this spread. Don't like. It was trying to draw a greyhound, didn't turn out good. I like these hands. Don't like. I really struggled with faces at this point, and that's why I added them to my 2025 drawing goals, because I want to get better at them. Okay, so this side I got a random piece of paper and was just drawing all these Stardew Valley stuff on with my hoo-hoo markers, and I really like how they turned out. I really like Stardew Valley. It's one of the games I haven't played in a while, but I used to play it a lot. I do have a YouTube video on this picture. It was when I was actually happy with how a face turned out, and this body. The bunny's kind of creepy, but I really like this. So here's another paper that's just covering up this colored pencil so that it doesn't smudge onto this side. I guess this is when I was really struggling with my art block, because normally I'll have a couple drawings in between each YouTube video, but this one was just YouTube video. So this is where I just created a mess. I drew these two on a different piece of paper and just glued them in, and then sketched around them and just filled this page in my sketchbook. This really helped me get out of art block, because I wasn't trying to make everything perfect, and I was just messing around. And I know this spread looks a little bit messy, but it actually helped a lot. This is when I got my RTX acrylic markers. I think the 36 set, I don't remember exactly, but I swatched them all out here, and the flowers are the first drawing I actually did with them, but I didn't do a video on this because I just wanted to see how they worked before I decided to do a review video on them. This page, pretty sure I got all these from Pinterest, another hand. And I did a YouTube video for the RTX acrylic markers. This crane was so much fun to draw. I'm not super happy with the crab, but it's okay. But I love these acrylic markers, and you can see throughout the rest of this sketchbook just how much I use them and get more confident with them. But this crane has to be one of my favorite drawings that I've done in here. And I just used a lot of colors that I normally wouldn't, and I think the people that watched this video on my YouTube liked it a lot more than my other videos as well. So this was when I started to get into Arcane. I know it was around December that I started watching it, so I was a little behind on that too. But I started drawing Jinx, and I knew I would mess up her face, so I just left it alone. And then I really like how I drew this, of course with acrylic markers, but I think it turned out really good. I don't think the colors are exactly right, but it's what I had, so it's what I used, but I love how it turned out. Here's where I started sketching more. This was highlighted, so it was my favorite. Of course, it's a dog, more hands, and then here's where I started practicing with poses. What makes me really mad about this page was I had sprayed it with a fixative, and I accidentally closed it before it was ready. So that's why that's right here and the green's over here, because it wasn't completely dry before I closed the sketchbook. I learned my lesson after this. But yeah, here's a sketchbook spread of trying to get myself out of art block and just draw. So I did a whole bunch of poses. I'm not too mad about how these turned out. They're a little off, and then I tried drawing a face, didn't like it that much. Hand, because I love drawing hands, and that's like one of my comfort things, and it turned out well. And this was how I was feeling, so I drew that. Here's some more acrylic markers. I was just trying to use them more. I hate how this side turned out. I wish I would have covered it up, but this was actually, yeah, I think this was the start of the new year. Where is it? Yeah, this is the start of the new year, when I started drawing as well. I kept on going from last year. I felt like I was on a roll, so I just tried to draw as much as possible. Sometimes even like 2 or 3 times a day. This is Zariah, my OC. This is her full body, and then this is her just holding her sword because I wanted more of a close-up of it. Her head is not very proportionate to her body, but I really like how that turned out. And I'm not good at drawing braids, so tell me why I created an OC that has braids. I don't know. I love this spread. Okay, so I started off with this girl that I drew. Actually, let's go. I started off with this one, and then I went and drew the rabbit, and then the fish, and then the buffalo, and then wasn't super happy with the cat, so I just didn't really finish that one. Then I drew this duck that's really cute with a flower on its head, and then I drew this girl, and then I was like, I really liked all the animals on this page, so let's do that on this side. So I drew the chicken, and then I was in a still life kick where I just wanted to draw that, so I sketched all this out, and then I realized I had the colors in my acrylic markers to color this in, and I did, and I feel like it just makes it look a little bit better to have that one thing that's colored in. Cow, and then I wrote blue because I just used a blue colored pencil this whole time. This started like my monochrome drawing pages. Like this one was a full spread, but I think the other ones are only 1 page, but I started doing it because of this. So here's the purple one. I've seen a lot of people draw this girl from Pinterest, so I felt like giving it a try because she has a really unique nose and I love it. And then I drew peaches, a hand, a flamingo with acrylic markers. And I thought about doing a video on this, but because I felt like I was getting into art block again, I decided against it and just to challenge myself by doing 15 minutes and then 5 minutes. So this was pretty quick, but I was able to do a lot of shading. And this one I immediately just went down with color and then added line art because I did not have a lot of time at all. I love this page. I think this is my second favorite drawing that I did. The first being the dog page. I think this one's the second. I just love all the colors I used. And of course it's acrylic markers again, so are these two. But this tomato picture is on my Redbubble shop as stickers. I actually bought them and showed them in my recent video, my most recent. I don't like how that bird turned out. The eye was definitely too big. I really like how this mango turned out, and I like how I outlined it with the sharp points. Chicken on a swing, frog. Just trying to draw. And I don't like that this page is warped because I glued in this piece of paper, which was another thing that I drew in high school. And since it was fish, it inspired me to draw this. And I sprayed this, but I guess it didn't cover it very well because you can tell the colored pencil is kind of transferred to this side. But this picture is also on my Redbubble shop as a sticker. I really like this spread a lot too. I actually took this picture and decided to color it in with my acrylic markers, but that was like one of the last things I drew. I first drew this girl. Don't like her eyes are too far apart, but we're trying to draw faces, So then I drew this one, and I really liked how that one turned out. And I wasn't going to push it, so I just drew a hand instead. And then I thought this space was way too blank, so I went in with my acrylic markers and made like a sunrise. As you can tell on this side, I didn't really want to draw faces because I knew it wasn't going to get better than this. So I chose Pinterest references where most of their face was covered, or I just didn't finish the face. So I drew this one in my red pencil, regular pencil, blue pen. I really like how these are together, but I wish I would have moved this one over so that I could have fit one more person, because I feel like these two are really close together and this one's kind of farther away. But I really enjoyed how all this turned out, and I really like him especially. This spread, I was trying to draw more backgrounds because that was another goal that I had for 2025, is to draw buildings and stuff like that. So I just sketched with my Micron pens, and that's why you can probably see there's a lot of mess ups, because I didn't sketch with a pencil first. I just went in straight with the pen. This is acrylic marker. It's also on my Redbubble shop as a sticker. This I did a video on. It was when I got my Woomer colored pencils, and I did a layer of alcohol marker and then went over with the colored pencils. Same with that picture. Then I sketched that. Wasn't super happy with it because of course there's braids and I'm awful at drawing braids. I liked how these turned out. The hand is like way off on this one. I don't know where that's supposed to be, but I don't think it looked too awful if you just don't pay attention to the hand. And then that one turned out really well. So this side, that's a sticker on my Redbubble shop. Another picture of a building that I just drew with my pen. I actually really like how that one turned out, and just putting a little bit of yellow in there. Woomer colored pencils, grapes, and if you can see, I glue in all the colored pencil art. I glue it in because I do it on a different piece of paper, because with the one fruit spread that I didn't like how the colored pencils did on this paper, so I just draw them on another piece of paper and either glue or tape them in. I have a video on this one. I closed my eyes and chose 3 random markers, and this is what I made with it. Oh, this was so much fun. So recently I've been seeing a lot on my Pinterest of how they do the paintings. They have like an actual painting, and then they'll do the pixel art of flowers. And so I wanted to do this, but with my Ahuhu markers instead of paint. So I did that, and I really like it. And this one, I will pop the comment up on screen, but on my Instagram, I said give me 3 emojis and I will draw it. So the emojis were a star, a fountain, and a ladder, and so this is what I created. This page, I was starting to get a little bit more into art block. Drew this dog and I didn't like it. I drew me as a Funko Pop because I had created one and I just thought it would be fun. Banana with duct tape because why not? I see that art everywhere and I just think it's kind of funny. I like how it turned out. This was with my acrylic markers. Person, just practicing more. This was my favorite song at the time, so I just wrote down the lyrics for that. I love how this turned out. Of course, I sketched it out on another piece of paper and colored it in with my colored pencils, and then glued it in here. More hands, because I like drawing hands. Another building, face that I don't hate, but I'm not super happy with. This page, I drew her because I was having really fun drawing like full bodies like I did on the other page. Tulips, because my mom's favorite flower are tulips, so I felt like drawing some of those. Sketching people faces because I'm trying to get better at them. The nose is off on this one, but I don't hate everything else. I felt like drawing dogs again, so I just filled this whole spread with this dachshund. Sketching a cowboy with yellow gloves. I wasn't liking how it was turning out, and I didn't feel like drawing the face, so I never finished it. Hand. I like how this girl turned out. I like how her face turned out. Snake, Pinterest reference. Her head is way too big for her body, but I really like how her boots turned out and her bag. I really like this page, so I'm pretty happy with that. I don't normally draw guys, so this one's pretty good. Hand that I struggled with. A star, because I just wanted to fill in the space. And then this fig drawing was a lot of fun. I did it with my acrylic markers, and I really enjoyed doing that. And that was pretty recently, because it was in February. Then I drew this little wet sign. I just thought it was really cool to do with the acrylic markers, and it was so much fun to draw. And I think it looks really cute. I really like it. And then I drew this street sign. It's not really accurate, but I wasn't trying to be, just because there was so much bleed through from the other page. I just wanted to put something there. This last page, this was supposed to be a picture of me. It doesn't look anything like me. I'm actually really not happy with how it turned out. I tried going in with my, I went with a base layer of my Hoo Hoo markers and then went in with my Woomer colored pencils, but they weren't opaque enough to cover up the marker, so it just looks really dark, and I don't like how it turned out. But that was the last page. I hate to end on that note, but that's just what we did, so I said see you in the next one. So let's look through this. Grab everything out of here. I think that's it. Okay, first off, my bookmark broke. The one that was attached to this sketchbook, it broke off. I guess because I just pulled on it too much, but so I just keep it back here for memory's sake. And then this was when I got to swim with dolphins on a cruise. So I keep a lot of memories in here. This was from the front of a sketchbook. I just really liked it. Here is the other part to that page that I glued in. I just felt like I couldn't throw it away because it was a lot of color. So I just keep it in here. Here's all the fortunes that I've got for my fortune cookies so far. Not all of them, because obviously I don't keep all of them, but I just felt like putting them together, and I thought about using them as prompts and just making a drawing off of that, so you might see a video on that later. And then here is a drawing that was done for my graduation. We got this with our degrees, so I kept it because I really liked the way it was drawn. But yeah, that's the end of this sketchbook. This was an idea from another sketchbook that I made a sticker out of, and you can tell it's not perfect, but I really like him. He's super cute. But yeah, that's the full sketchbook. This one took me a while to fill, mainly because I wasn't drawing in it as much as I wanted to, but that is sketchbook number 4 completed. Here is a sneak peek into the sketchbook that I am currently working on. I'm really happy with how it's turning out so far. See you in the next one. Bye.